अब यहाँ पे देखो तीन एंटिटी है, मैन, ट्रेन एंड प्लेटफॉर्म। तीन में से दो एंटिटी चलने वाली है। कौन सी दो एंटिटी चलने वाली है? ट्रेन एंड मैन। प्लेटफॉर्म अपनी जगह पे। तीन में से दो एंटिटी को लेंथ है। कौन सी दो एंटिटी को लेंथ है? ट्रेन एंड प्लेटफॉर्म। मैन को लेंथ नहीं है। सो तीन एंटिटी है और यहाँ पे तीन स्टेटमेंट दिए। हर एक स्टेटमेंट में हमें एक इक्वेशन मिलने वाला है। मैथ्स का बेसिक फंडा है, आप कुछ भी पढ़ते हो, पढ़ने के बाद आपको सिर्फ दिमाग में ये सोचना है कि इसका इक्वेशन मैं कैसे बनाऊं। सो सबसे पहला स्टेटमेंट, अ 200 मीटर लॉन्ग ट्रेन ओवरटूक अ पर्सन वॉकिंग इन द अपोजिट डायरेक्शन इन 10 सेकंड्स। अब सिर्फ ये स्टेटमेंट से हम क्या लिख सकते हैं इसके बारे में सोचो, आगे का सोचो मत। ट्रेन की लेंथ है 200 मीटर, दोनों अपोजिट दिशा में आ रहे हैं। अपोजिट दिशा में क्या होता है? दोनों के स्पीड की एडिशन होती है। अब दोनों की स्पीड क्या है? पता नहीं है। अब दोनों की स्पीड पता नहीं है, मैन के स्पीड को बोलो sm एंड ट्रेन के स्पीड को बोलो st। जब दोनों एक दूसरे के अपोजिट दिशा में आएंगे तो स्पीड की एडिशन होगी, मतलब sm प्लस st, एंड दैट स्पीड इज इक्वल टू व्हाट? डिस्टेंस अपॉन टाइम। डिस्टेंस, कितना डिस्टेंस ट्रैवल करेंगे जब एक मैन एक ट्रेन को क्रॉस करेगा? द लेंथ ऑफ द ट्रेन, द लेंथ ऑफ द ट्रेन इज 200 मीटर्स और टाइम क्या लगेगा? 10 सेकंड। ये दिया इंफॉर्मेशन। सो पहले स्टेटमेंट में डिस्टेंस दिया है और टाइम दिया है, एंड डिस्टेंस दिया है, टाइम दिया है, तो निकालना क्या है? स्पीड। तो जो स्पीड हमें मिलेगा वो किसका स्पीड होगा? दोनों के स्पीड की एडिशन। सो फर्स्ट इक्वेशन हमें मिला, यस, 20 मीटर पर सेकंड लोगों ने डाला है। तो ये ट्रेन की लेंथ है 200 मीटर, ये मैन जा रहा है, दोनों एक दूसरे की अपोजिट दिशा में जा रहे हैं, तो दोनों की स्पीड की एडिशन होगी। 200 मीटर जाने के लिए 10 सेकंड लगते हैं, तो स्पीड है 200 अपॉन 10। पहला इक्वेशन हमें मिला sm प्लस st इज इक्वल टू 20। ये सही लिखा है दर्शन ने। पहला इक्वेशन हमें मिला। नाउ सेकंड इक्वेशन विद द सेकंड स्टेटमेंट। दूसरा स्टेटमेंट है द मैन वॉकिंग एट द सेम स्पीड क्रॉसेस अ प्लेटफॉर्म इन 3 मिनट्स। अब ये सवाल में आपको मैन का स्पीड पता नहीं है, प्लेटफॉर्म की लेंथ पता नहीं है, दिया है सिर्फ टाइम। अगेन व्हाट इज द स्पीड? डिस्टेंस अपॉन टाइम। प्लेटफॉर्म की लेंथ पता नहीं है तो क्या बोलोगे? प्लेटफॉर्म की लेंथ पता नहीं है तो बोलोगे डी। सो ये प्लेटफॉर्म है जिसकी लेंथ पता नहीं है, दैट लेंथ इज डी। तो ये डी डिस्टेंस ट्रेवल करने के लिए ये मैन को लगते हैं 3 मिनट्स। तो क्या इक्वेशन लिखोगे आप? राइट दैट इक्वेशन इन योर नोटबुक। सो ये मैन चल रहा है तो इसका स्पीड है sm एंड स्पीड होता है डिस्टेंस अपॉन टाइम। डिस्टेंस है d एंड टाइम है 3 मिनट्स। तो वी गेट दिस इक्वेशन sm इज इक्वल टू d अपॉन 180। वाई 180? बिकॉज डिस्टेंस मीटर में है तो टाइम सेकंड्स में होना चाहिए, बिकॉज यूनिट है स्पीड का मीटर पर सेकंड, इसलिए 3 मिनट को मैंने सेकंड में कन्वर्ट किया है। दो इक्वेशन मिले। अब ये तीसरा स्टेटमेंट हमें तीसरा इक्वेशन देगा। रीड द थर्ड स्टेटमेंट, द ट्रेन क्रॉस द प्लेटफॉर्म इन 300 अपॉन 11 सेकंड्स। तो क्या होगा जब ट्रेन प्लेटफॉर्म को क्रॉस करेगी? अब ये ट्रेन प्लेटफॉर्म को क्रॉस कर रही है। व्हेन ट्रेन क्रॉसेस द प्लेटफॉर्म इट ट्रेवल्स अ डिस्टेंस इक्वल टू लेंथ ऑफ द ट्रेन प्लस लेंथ ऑफ द प्लेटफॉर्म। तो तीसरे स्टेटमेंट में जो डिस्टेंस ट्रेवल किया है ट्रेन ने प्लेटफॉर्म को क्रॉस करते वक्त, दैट डिस्टेंस इज 200 प्लस डी। टाइम लिया है 300 अपॉन 11 सेकंड्स। सो डिस्टेंस अपॉन टाइम क्या मिलता है? स्पीड। किसका स्पीड मिलेगा यहाँ पे? ट्रेन का, बिकॉज सिर्फ ट्रेन चल रही है, प्लेटफॉर्म चल नहीं रहा है। तो ट्रेन का स्पीड इज व्हाट? डिस्टेंस ट्रेवल्ड डिवाइडेड बाय टाइम। तो हमें तीसरा इक्वेशन मिला st is equal to d plus 200, that is the total distance upon time. Now इतना ही इंफॉर्मेशन है हमारे पास। अब देखो यहाँ पे जो इक्वेशन हमने लिखे हैं, क्या क्या अननोन है यहाँ पे। एक है एसएम, स्पीड ऑफ मैन, एक है एसटी, स्पीड ऑफ ट्रेन, एंड एक है डी, दैट इज लेंथ ऑफ द प्लेटफॉर्म। नो नो, जो मैथ्स का बेसिक फंडा है, जितने अननोन उतने इक्वेशन। यहाँ पे 3 अननोन है और 3 इक्वेशन है, 3 अननोन और 3 इक्वेशन। So you have 3 unknown and 3 equations. Solve them and get the answer. Everybody solve the question और आपका जो आंसर आता है वो आंसर बता। Type your answer in the chat box. आयुष शिंदोरे 66। क्या सोच रहे हो, क्या कर रहे हो, किस प्रकार इस क्वेश्चन को आप सॉल्व कर रहे हो? देखिए 3 इक्वेशन 3 अननोन सॉल्व करना है तो एसएम की वैल्यू यहाँ पे दी है d/180 एंड एसटी की वैल्यू ये है। यहाँ पे एसएम एंड एसटी दोनों दिख रहे हैं। What if you put this value here and this value here? So instead of 3 unknown 3 equations, आपको मिलेगा 1 unknown 1 equation. So ये SM की वैल्यू यहाँ पे डालो, ये ST की वैल्यू यहाँ पे डालो, then you get this equation here. Now 1 unknown 1 equation है, solve this and get the value of D. इसको solve करके first I want you to type value of D. चैट बॉक्स में D की वैल्यू डालो। तीन सौ मीटर। कुछ लोगों को यहाँ पे तकलीफ होगी, ये क्या है, क्या होता है डिनोमिनेटर का डिनोमिनेटर, डिवीजन का डिवीजन मल्टीप्लिकेशन होता है। ये जो 11 है, ये 11 ऊपर मल्टीप्लाई करेगा। देखो ये 11D होगा, 11 इंटू 2 22। सो ये आया। सॉल्व करो सब लोग, ओनली 2 पीपल हैव आंसर्ड। ओके, 2 more people got 300 as the answer. अब इसके बाद क्या करेंगे, देखो लोग क्या करते हैं मैं बताता हूँ। ये 180 है, ये 300 है, they will do the cross multiplication. 300D, then 180 into 11, then 180 into 2200. ये कैलकुलेशन कितना बड़ा होगा, डिनोमिनेटर में 180 into 300। अब जो लोग ये कर रहे हैं, they are seriously taking lot of time. Always think how you can save your time. क्या करना पड़ेगा यहाँ पे, 180 एंड 300 क्रॉस मल्टीप्लीकेशन नहीं करना है। मुझे सबसे पहले बताओ ये दोनों का कॉमन डिवाइजर HCF क्या है, 180 एंड 300 का। पीपल विल फाइंड LCM, LCM मत निकालो, HCF निकालो। यस, सार्थक ने लिखा है 60 इज दी HCF। तो दिमाग की बात ये है कि इन दोनों नंबर को, तीनों नंबर को जितने भी यहाँ पे दिख रहे हैं, दोनों साइड को 60 से मल्टीप्लाई करो। So when you multiply both the sides by 60, what will happen? नंबर छोटे हो जाएंगे। Multiply both the sides by 60. देखो इसको 60 से मल्टीप्लाई किया, 60 into 3 180, यहाँ पे 3 आया। इसको 60 से मल्टीप्लाई किया, 60 into 5 300 यहाँ पे आया। इसको भी 60 से मल्टीप्लाई किया। आप इक्वेशन में दोनों साइड को सेम नंबर से डिवाइड कर सकते हो, मल्टीप्लाई कर सकते हो। तो 20 into 60 आया 120, तो ये आया 1200। ओके, अब नंबर छोटे हो गए। नाउ डू द क्रॉस मल्टीप्लीकेशन। या फिर ऐसा करो, 3 एंड 5 का एलसीएम आता है 15, सारे दोनों साइड को 15 से मल्टीप्लाई करो तो डिनोमिनेटर ही हट जाएंगे। मल्टीप्लाई बोथ द साइड्स बाय 15। डू इट इन योर नोटबुक। दोनों बाजू 15 से मल्टीप्लाई किया। सो 15 एंड 3 ये आया 5D, 15 एंड 5 3 आएगा, 3 से इन दोनों को मल्टीप्लाई किया और 15 से इसको मल्टीप्लाई किया तो ये आया। अब सिंपल है, 5D प्लस 33D दैट इज 38D, 38D की वैल्यू अब 18,000 में से 6,600 माइनस किए। कैसे माइनस किए? 18,000 माइनस 6,000 12,000, 12,000 माइनस 600 11,400, स्प्लिट किया। सो D is this divided by 38, 114 38 का 3 टाइम्स है, 300 is the length of the platform। हमें प्लेटफॉर्म की लेंथ मिली, लेकिन पूछा है ट्रेन का स्पीड। ट्रेन का स्पीड कैसे मिलेगा? ये 300 वैल्यू यहाँ पे डाल दो, 300 plus 200 upon this, solve this and then you will get the ST। डाल दो और सॉल्व करो। तो D की जगह पे 300 डाला, मिलता है आंसर सब लोगों को। तो ये ऊपर आया 500, ये 500 इंटू 11 ये आया 5500। यहाँ पे 5500 कैसे आया? इस 500 इंटू 11, सो दिस इज 50/3 मीटर पर सेकंड। ये यूनिट देखो क्या है, डिस्टेंस मीटर में है, टाइम सेकंड में है, तो ये मीटर पर सेकंड है। इसको कन्वर्ट करना है किलोमीटर पर आवर में। कैसे करेंगे कन्वर्ट? 55/3 इंटू 18/5 मल्टीप्लाई करो, देन एवरीबडी विल गेट द आंसर। और ये आंसर मिलता है ये 66 किलोमीटर पर आवर। करेक्ट। चले आगे, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन।
So today's topic is a mixed exercise where we'll be studying para summary and para jumbles. Now there are some new participants today who have not attended the para summary sessions. So let me first explain what a para summary is. And some of you may have certain doubts regarding the difference between what is the summary and what is the main theme of a passage. So let us first understand the concept of the summarization of a paragraph. Now, whenever you are given any particular paragraph, let's say a reading comprehension, or let's say a very small paragraph, you normally come across the synopsis of that paragraph, wherein you do the summation of all the important highlights or the key points of that particular para. Whereas the main theme is always unique, pertaining to a paragraph or to an RC. To help you understand better, let me give you an example. Let's say you come across a reading comprehension passage where you have around 3 or 4 paragraphs. Now, irrespective of how many paragraphs that RC has, it will always revolve around one particular theme. That is the central idea. And that theme will be further elaborated with the help of examples, or probably with the help of certain statistics or data, or probably with the attestation of certain additional things which help you to elaborate that RC. But the theme will always be unique to that particular RC. But in order to elaborate that theme, you will come across certain important points. And when you summate those points, you effectively are finding what? The summary of that passage or the summary of that paragraph. So to summarize, if we read a particular passage today, and if I ask you to summarize that paragraph, all you have to do is you have to come across what is the main theme. And in order to explain that theme, what are the important points that the writer has highlighted, so that we can summarize those points and in a very brief, or let's say in a very concise manner, out of the chosen options, you should be able to give that summary. You must have read novels. Most of you must have read novels some or the other time in your life. Now, how do you decide whether you want to read that novel or not? You look at the back page, you look at the back cover page of that particular novel, and that is where you find the synopsis. What is it? It is nothing but the summary of that particular novel. So the summary just gives you the key highlights. It just gives you a brief idea about what the storyline is. And according to that summary, you decide whether you want to read that particular novel or not. So that summary is fair enough for you to take a judgment about what the storyline is. So without wasting much time, we'll start with the first paragraph. Like we normally do in our lectures, when we take classroom lectures, when I share this paragraph, you read it, understand it, be prepared with your answers. If you want to share your answers, you may, and then I'll give you a common description of that paragraph. So here we go with the first para. So are you guys prepared? Ready with the answers? Okay. All right. So we have two options, which, so most of you all are marking, okay, I'll just wait for some more time. Let the others also give the answers. Most of you have got it really correct. Yes. Okay. All right. So we've had enough time. So of all the options that I can see, there's a juggle between option D, Delhi, and option C. Let's see which one is right. Okay. I'll also explain if A and B are the right options. So here I start with the explanation. Let us first understand the main theme of the paragraph. Well, the paragraph talks about investments in stocks. If you're to invest in stock markets, you're risking it because you're deliberately pushing your money in something that you do not know whether you'll be able to make a profit or loss. That is what the first statement says. That if you're investing in stocks without valuation, it's like risking your money on purpose, that is deliberately. Now, the eventual sentence says that although the fluctuations in the stocks cannot be avoided, although the stock market is going to fluctuate, it is probably sometimes going to go up, sometimes it's going to go down. Although these fluctuations cannot be controlled, if you make an accurate valuation of the stock, you can minimize the risk factor. Now, this is one very important point, guys. And this is that important point which will differentiate whether the answer should be A or B or C or D. How? Let's look at the third line. If you're able to do the accurate valuation of a stock, you're somewhere or the other minimizing the risk. Please understand, you're not completely eliminating the risk, you're just minimizing it. So the risk ratio is somewhere or the other tackled to some extent. It will ensure that you don't shoot in the dark. So it will just ensure that you're not just playing a blind dart and you're making some sensible judgments and accordingly making investments. Now, what are the two important points that should be discussed in the answer option? One, investments in stocks. But secondly, valuation of those stocks, and why this valuation is important, so as to ensure that you're trying to reduce the risk associated with it to some or the other extent. So the answer option should talk about valuation of stocks and trying to tackle the risk factor. Let us see which answer option talks about these two things. First option, value investing is the best method of investing. Well, A should be outrightly rejected because A is a superlative option. Whether it's the best, whether it's a good or a better method as compared to the others, we have absolutely no clue because the paragraph is just assertive. It's just talking about the stock market. It's not comparing it with any other investments. So A is eliminated. B says, instead of pouring our hard-earned money into stocks without valuation, it's better to be patient and better to carry out thorough research to determine the worth of stocks before buying it. Well, B is very verbose. It has got a lot of words. And some students may feel that because B is verbose, it may actually have the right meaning and they may mark B as the answer. Let's keep B aside for the time being. Check out C. valuation of stocks eliminates the risk of investing. The ones who have marked C as the answer, you just lost on it by one aspect. It does not eliminate the risk, it just minimizes the risk. So C is not the right answer. D says, investing in stocks after valuing it will help to reduce the risk of investing. Well, D also makes sense because it talks about valuing the stocks, and then investing in the stocks after valuing will somewhere or the other reduce the risk. Now check out B and D. I've just tried and kept both these options because some of you had B and D in your mind. C is already eliminated because some also had C as the answer option. Now, if you closely observe B and D, option B is getting an additional point of telling us to be patient, which is not discussed in the paragraph. And secondly, B is not talking about the risk factor anywhere. It is just talking about carrying out a thorough research. But how is this thorough research going to help you? That is further explained in option D by helping you to reduce the risk of investing. So the right answer is option number D, Delhi is the right answer. And I believe most of you have got it right. Anybody has a doubt over here? Should we move further? All right. Now we move on with the second paragraph. I'll give you some more time to read. Okay. Some of you have got the answers. Waiting for the others. I hope the same kind of participation comes up when we have classroom sessions. Lots and lots of students are answering. That's really good. Good. All right. So here we start with a paragraph. Now, what should this paragraph answer option effectively talk about? What do you think? The first and foremost thing is the paragraph should talk about children and the teens. Please note that we are not talking about the elderly or the senior citizens. We are particularly focusing about the children and the teens. Now, the paragraph says that if the children and the teens of the family, they start taking responsibilities. Now, responsibilities in the sense, if they start indulging themselves in the family chores, if they start helping out their family members with the daily chores, they ultimately, somewhere or the other, become happier with themselves and also with their families. And because they are happy, they will have better bonding with the family and they'll have better values. In short, they will become productive members of the society. So far, the paragraph is optimistic in nature. It is positive. Now, further, the paragraph says that the family members who work together, who grow up together, they have a better bonding with respect to each other. And further, if these children and teens, they chat about the opportunities that they've had in the day or in their life in general, that is, if they interact more with their family members, they are bound to have better relations with their family. So my answer option should effectively talk about the children and the teens who take part in the daily chores or who indulge in the family responsibilities. They end up becoming more happy. They end up having better bonds with their family members and they end up having greater kind of interactions with their family members. So let's see the points that I've discussed, which is the answer option that covers those points. A says, cleaning up the kitchen, shoveling the driveway and other activities should be done by children to learn family values. Well, A is an incomplete option because A, what does A miss out on? It misses out on the aspect that these children will have a better bonding and they will have a better interaction. So let's see if there's something better than A. B says, working alongside the family members can bring greater happiness to the family. Well, it's not only to the family, but it's also per se to the children and the teens. So again, B is an incomplete option. We'll look out for something much better. C says, participation in the household work, which is coupled with greater interaction within the family, can lead to happier children and teens. It's very obvious that as compared to A and B, C is a better option because it talks about participation in the household work, it talks about greater interaction, and ultimately leading to happier children and teens, which further leads to better bonding. So we eliminate A and B and we keep C as an option. D says, better bonding within the family is an unintended positive side effect of children doing household work. Now, do you think D should be considered? Well, the problem with D is somewhere or the other saying that if the children engage in household work, somewhere or the other, one of the unintended positive effects of doing this household work is better bonding. But the paragraph is not just focusing on the aspect that children or teens should focus on the family responsibilities or the household chores. It's not on that. The paragraph's main focus is when you perform or when you participate in these household chores, the ultimate outcome that you get, the ultimate effect that you get is you become happier with yourselves and you have a better bonding. So the paragraph is not saying that one of the unintended effects is, the unintended effect is having a better bonding with the family. So D is taking the paragraph in altogether different direction, and that is why D, Delhi, gets eliminated. C is the right answer. I believe most of you have got it correct. Let's move with the next paragraph.